All right. Hey there, new educators. So if you think slideshows are just for, boring lectures, I want you to think again. Today, we are going to completely flip that script. We're turning those static slides into actual, dynamic learning playgrounds for your students. Let's dive right in.
So this is the big question, right? We all have this vision of creating these amazing, super engaging lessons. But let's be real. As a new teacher, time is the one thing you just don't have. So how in the world do you build something dynamic and exciting when you are stretched so thin? Well, that is exactly the problem we are going to solve today.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about design. Look, you're a teacher, not a graphic designer, and you shouldn't have to be. Your first secret weapon is learning how to get professional-looking materials in seconds, not hours. Seriously, this is the foundation for everything else.
And I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? You are always in a hurry. You need things like yesterday. And that idea of starting from a completely blank slide, it's just exhausting to even think about. But here's the good news. You really never have to start from scratch ever again.
So this is all about a huge shift in thinking. You know the old way? Staring at that blank white slide, spending forever picking fonts and colors, and just wrestling with getting things to line up right. The new way? We let smart tools do all of that heavy lifting for us, giving us beautiful, effective designs in an instant.
So how do we actually do this? Let's look at two absolute powerhouse tools. First up, you've got Microsoft PowerPoint, the OG, with its incredible designer feature. And then there's Canva, which is basically a design playground packed with templates and AI magic made just for teachers. Let's take a closer look at PowerPoint's designer, because it's pretty amazing. As you just type your text or drop in a picture, this little AI assistant is working in the background, figuring out what you're trying to do. And then, poof, it serves up a whole menu of sleek, professional layouts. It's literally like having a design consultant sitting right next to you. And then you have Canva, which is, and I'm not exaggerating, a total game changer for teachers. First off, their Canva for Education program is free, and it gives you all the pro features for free. You get thousands of gorgeous templates for anything you can think of. And get this, with Magic Design, you can just type a sentence like, "Make me a presentation about the water cycle," and it will generate an entire slideshow for you. It's wild. Okay, so now you've got a beautifully designed presentation. Awesome. But how do we get the students to actually lean in and get involved? Well, we have to move them from just passively listening to actively doing. We're going to turn that slideshow into a shared collaborative workspace. And for this, Google Slides is king. Its superpower is real-time collaboration. Just imagine it. Multiple students all working on the same presentation at the exact same time, seeing each other's cursors moving around. It's the foundation for a classroom that's truly alive and interactive. And believe it or not, getting started is this simple. That little share button up in the corner, that is your magic wand. With just one click, you can invite your entire class into the presentation. And just like that, it goes from being your lecture notes to their collaborative project.
Now, let's talk strategy, because there are two main ways you can do this. First, you can create a whole class deck. That's where everyone is in one single presentation, and you just assign each student or group their own slide to work on. It's perfect for brainstorming or quick warm-ups. The other way is to assign an individual copy to each student. This turns the slide deck into their own personal digital notebook where they can do their own work.
All right, this is where it all comes together. We've got the design, we've got the collaboration tools. Now, let's build the engine that's actually going to drive that student engagement. We're going to stop thinking about making slides and start thinking about building activities. So, enough theory. I want to give you two super concrete, easy-to-build activities that you can literally use in your classroom tomorrow. These will get your students, metaphorically, out of their seats and actively working with the lesson content. First step, a drag and drop. This is so simple but so effective. All you do is set an image as the background of the slide. It could be a map, a diagram of a cell, anything. Then you just create a bunch of text boxes with the labels. The student's job? To literally drag the labels and drop them into the right spots. It's hands-on, it's interactive, and it works on any of these platforms. Activity number 2 is even more fun, a choose-your-own adventure story. So on slide 1, you write a little story prompt that ends with a choice, like, do you open the creaky door or do you run down the hallway? Each of those choices is a text box that you then link to a different slide. So if they click open the door, it zaps them to slide 2. If they click run, it zaps them to slide 5. You're building a story with branches, and it's fantastic for critical thinking. So, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds cool, but how does this help me with classroom management, which for a new teacher is probably the biggest challenge of all? And that is a fantastic question. The answer really gets to the heart of why this whole approach works so well. Well, here's the connection. An engaged student is a focused student. It's that simple. When kids have a clear, hands-on task, like solving a drag-and-drop puzzle or figuring out a story, their focus is on that, not on whatever else is going on in the room. You're shifting them from just passively receiving information to actively participating, and that is the secret to a well-managed, dynamic class.
Okay, wow, we have covered a ton of ground. We've talked design, we've talked collaboration, and we've talked activities. So now let's bring it all home with one simple, practical challenge that you can use on your very first day of school. Here is your mission, if you choose to accept it. I want you to create one single About Me slide. This is your chance to introduce yourself to your new students, not just with words, but with some great design and a little bit of your own personality. And I really want you to use one of the tools we just talked about. Go jump into Canva and find a fun template that just feels like you. Or open up PowerPoint, type a few facts about yourself, and see what cool ideas the designer tool comes up with. Or, hey, maybe you build it in Google Slides and end with a question that your students can all answer right there on the slide together. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. That very first slide you show, it's not just a slide. It's the first impression of your entire classroom culture. So, is it going to be a static lecture, or is it going to be the start of an interactive adventure? What will your first slide say about you? Go build it.